The old coast road ended abruptly, dissolving into a rutted track swallowed by gorse and sea mist. Beyond it lay Oakhaven, a village less lived in and merely endured by the relentless Atlantic wind. Elias had chosen it for its isolation, a place where he and Sarah could escape the world, brave the salt-laced air, and perhaps rekindle a spark that the city had threatened to extinguish. He envisioned quiet evenings, long walks along the cliffs. He did not envision the stones. They found them on their second day, huddled together on a windswept promontory known locally, though rarely spoken of, as the Watcher's Brow. Not natural formations, these. Standing stones, gray and pitted by millennia of spray, yet bearing intricate, unsettling carvings, swirls and angles that seemed to rift just at the edge of comprehension, unlike any runes or symbols Elias had ever seen. They gave off a palpable sense of wrongness, a coldness that bit deeper than the wind. Sarah was mesmerized, while Elias felt only unease. She traced the patterns with trembling fingers, a strange light in her eyes. "They mean something, Elias," she murmured, her voice distant. "Something important, ancient." That was the turning point. Oakhaven vanished for her. She spent hours by the stones, or back at their damp, rented cottage, sketching symbols obsessively in a worn notebook. Meal times were forgotten. Her laughter faded, replaced by a quiet, intense focus that unnerved Elias more than any argument ever had. She became secretive, her eyes dark and hollowed, her skin pale as the mist itself. One night, the notebook lay open on the table while Sarah was outside, staring at the ink-black sea from the porch. Against his better judgment, Elias peered at the pages. They were filled, edge to edge, with the carvings, repeated endlessly, intermingled with hurried notes he couldn't decipher. But one entry, scrawled across a page, made his blood run cold. "The sea demands. The stone answers. What is the key?" When he confronted her, her eyes were alien. "Art. You don't understand," she whispered, not to him, it seemed, but through him. "They're waking, the old ones. They need payment to return." Elias tried to reason, to plead. He spoke of doctors, of leaving Oakhaven immediately. Sarah merely smiled, a chilling, vacant expression that didn't reach her eyes. "It has to be done," she said, her voice flat. "A token, a gift, for their favor." The next morning, the cottage was empty. The notebook was gone. A single line was scratched into the condensation on the window pane. "Watcher's Brow." Done. Dread coiled in Elias's gut, a cold serpent. He ran through the pre-dawn gloom, the path slick with dew, the wind screaming past his ears like tormented spirits. He reached the promontory just as the first gray light bowled over the horizon. And he saw her. Sarah. She lay sprawled amongst the standing stones, her limbs twisted at unnatural angles. Her eyes were wide, staring sightlessly at the strengthening light. But it was the rest that stole Elias's breath, that shattered his sanity into a million irreparable pieces. His symbols. They weren't just drawn on the stones or in her notebook anymore. They were carved into her skin, precise, deep incisions that bored sluggishly into the grass. Her chest was laid open, not brutally, but with a ritualistic precision, as if offering her heart to the hungry sea or the cold, unyielding stones. The notebook lay beside her, its pages fluttering in the wind. On the final, blood-smeared page, a new symbol was drawn, larger, more complex than the others. And beneath it, a single word, written in Sarah's hand, yet in a script that seemed too ancient, too sharp to be human, accepted. Elias could only stare, the wind whipping around him, carrying not the scent of salt and gorse, but something else now. Something cold and vast and utterly, terrifyingly aware. He had brought Sarah to Oakhaven to escape. He had led her to a willing sacrifice, a betrayal not of him, but of herself, to something that had waited patiently for millennia in the stones. And now, the symbols seemed to pulse faintly in the blood, and Elias felt a new, terrifying certainty settle over him. They knew he was here, and they were still hungry.